Is the Reno real estate market going to crash in 2022? It's a good question. Hey everyone, it's David Tully. I'm a local real estate agent here in the area. I give you local real estate market insights and I show you what it's like to live and play in the area. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the Reno real estate market and whether or not it's going to crash in 2022. I get this question weekly and sometimes daily, so I wanted to touch on this. So if you enjoy this type of content, please make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. And if you're thinking about moving or relocating to the area and you need some help, just reach out. All right, so I want to start this off by saying I do not think the Reno real estate market is going to crash in 2022 or in the next 1 to 2 years. So one of the biggest driving factors in this housing crisis in Reno Sparks is inventory. So I want to start this off by saying before the COVID-19 pandemic, we had about 4 to 8 weeks of inventory. And what this means is if no more homes are listed in that 4 to 8 weeks, that means we are completely out of homes to sell. So due to COVID, a lot of people realized that home was a lot more important than they expected. They started spending a lot of time at home with their friends, their family, and realized they needed a home office or maybe even a gym in an extra bedroom or in their garage. So this made them realize that they needed more space in the garage, their home, and possibly even their backyard. So it made a lot of millennials and people in general realize that they wanted something better. And there was kind of a lull for the first 2 to 3 months in the housing market due to COVID, because of course nobody really knew what was going on. And then after that, I would say in about July or August of 2020, the real estate market in Reno Sparks took off. And we're currently sitting at about 2 weeks of inventory, which is very, very unhealthy. They say that a healthy real estate market typically has about 6 months of inventory. So I honestly don't think that's really going to ease up anytime soon. Sure, if buyer demand decreases, that could definitely help. And you might be thinking, okay, great, there might not be a lot of standing inventory. Maybe I'll just go buy a brand new home. But with increased construction costs, labor shortages, and I mean there's labor shortages across the board, not just real estate, and people don't want to work. So if you're looking to buy a brand new construction home in the Reno Sparks area, if you can get to the #1 spot or find some standing new home inventory, you're looking at about 4 to 6 months for construction. If you're buying a home that is made by Lennar, Toll Brothers, Silverado, or possibly Genuine. And if you're looking for a Toll Brothers home, a semi-custom home that starts from dirt, you're looking about 10 to 12 months for your build time. So keep that in mind. I honestly think the inventory will ease up a little bit, but to ease up enough to where we become a buyer's market, I am not so sure. All right, so the second biggest driving factor in this housing market has been interest rates. Interest rates have been extremely and historically low for quite some time. They wanted to help out the economy, and it most certainly did, but also it created a perfect storm of crazy inflation. So the feds have recently increased interest rates. And let me be clear and clarify, the feds do not increase mortgage interest rates. They actually increase the amount of money it costs for a bank to borrow money and lend money. So in reality, lending becomes more expensive. Mortgage interest rates typically follow the 10-year treasury yield. I know it's a little confusing, but I hope that clears it up. So the feds are talking about increasing interest rates 5 to 7 times over the next 12 months to help out with inflation. And I do believe that will decrease buyer demand because as you increase interest rates, you are reducing buyers' buying power. So certain buyers that were at, the $600,000 to $700,000 price point might have to reduce their budget a little bit. So for people to think that this is not going to reduce buyer demand is absolutely crazy. But are they going to reduce buyer demand enough to where we are going to have a crash? Absolutely not. I do not think that at all. And you might be thinking interest rates, low inventory, and that is exactly why we have had 20+% appreciation for 2020 and 2021 in Reno and Sparks. You have extremely low supply and extremely high demand, prices go up. And if you have extremely low interest rates, you increase that demand. So as you can see, those three things, low interest rates, buyer demand, and inventory, create a perfect storm of crazy high appreciation. And do I think 20+% appreciation a year is healthy or sustainable? Absolutely not. It is not sustainable. And economists say a normal, healthy appreciation for homes annually is kind of in the 3 to 5% range. So if we can dial that demand back a little bit and get to healthier single-digit appreciation, I think overall we will be in a much better spot. All right, so you're probably wondering about homeownership equity. And an article published late last year said the average homeowner gained $57,000 plus in 2021. That is higher than a lot of people's annual salaries. And the average homeowner late last year had at least $150,000 plus in equity in their home. That is a lot of equity. So you might also be thinking, okay, well great, they have a lot of equity in their home. There's probably still going to be a wave of short sales and foreclosures. So I had a report sent to me from Washoe County, kind of in the second week of March. And of the second week in March, there were 6 notice of defaults and 3 notice of sales. This just means when you default on your loan for a certain period of time, you get notice of defaults that are reported publicly. And if you don't pay your loan for a certain period of time, then they say they're gonna sell your home. So like I said, in that 1 week, there was only 9 properties. And of the 6 notice of defaults, all those properties were purchased for under $200,000 to under $300,000. So I don't know if there's some issue going on with their family, maybe some medical issues, but they should potentially have a lot of equity in their home, which makes the market look very strong here in Reno, Sparks. All right, so I'm sure you've heard about HELOCs or a home equity line of credit. And what I'm gonna say is if you don't need to use your HELOC, don't use it. I don't think it's a great idea. If you're using it to buy things that you don't have money for, such as cars, toys, RVs, don't touch it. If you can't afford to buy it on your own without using equity in your home, you probably shouldn't have it. But if you're using your HELOC or home equity line of credit for things such as renovations or improvements, paying down high interest debt, or buying additional rental properties as an investment, it could be a good idea, but please do your research as it could get you in a lot of trouble if you don't know what you're doing. Okay, so you're probably wondering, okay, great, David, the Reno housing market's absolutely crazy, but what about the Reno overall job economy? What is that looking like? So the Reno job market is actually looking very good and increased by 4.6% over the last year. And the Reno job market is expected to increase 51% over the next 10 years, which is much higher than the US national average of 33% over the next 10 years. So not only is the Reno housing market looking very strong, so is the job market and economy. So the last thing I want to talk about is mortgage applications. And you're going to be seeing articles that say mortgage applications are down, sales are down. And of course, mortgage applications and sales are going to be down because mortgage applications include refinances. Of course, those are going to be down when they increase interest rates. If people locked in their mortgage interest rates on their fixed 30-year mortgages in the 2.5 to 3.5 or 4% range, why would anyone refinance at 5%? Sure, some people are still going to want to do that, but of course those numbers will be down. Also, with increased interest rates and certain people being priced out of the market, those applications will be down. And when you hear, okay, sales are down, that is because we have increased construction costs, labor shortages, homes taking longer to be built, and we have very low inventory. That is why sales are down. There are not a lot of homes on the market. We have about 250 to 270 active and available single-family homes in Reno Sparks at the moment. All right, in this video, I've given you an overview of inventory, supply and demand, interest rates, kind of what the Reno job market and economy looks like, and how much equity people have in their homes. So overall, I do not think the Reno real estate market is going to crash in 2022 or 2023. I think there could certainly be a slight correction in the future. And when I say correction, I mean leveling off a bit or prices dipping just a little bit, not a housing crash. So if you enjoy this type of content, please make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. And if you're thinking about moving or relocating to the area, or if you have any questions, just reach out. I'd be happy to help. Hey, thanks so much for watching my video. I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.